I will make the choices necessary to deliver strong foundations for our economy. My budget, led by this government's values of fairness and opportunity, and focused entirely on the priorities of the British people, protecting our NHS, reducing our national debt, and improving the cost of living. There is a lot of speculation about the choices that I will make. I understand that. These are important choices that will shape the future of our country for years to come. The decision to pursue a policy of austerity after the financial crisis dealt a hammer blow to our economy, gutting our public services and severing the flows of investment that would have put our country on a path to recovery.
Good day. Picture this. A muddy pair of boots on the doorstep, a white van parked half on the pavement, half on the curb, hazard lights blinking like a cry for help. Inside the cab, a bacon sandwich going cold while TalkRadio hums in the background. And somewhere between the second sip of tea and the third traffic light, the driver realizes Westminster has been rummaging through his pockets again. Not with a dramatic flourish, not with a trumpet blast, but quietly, clinically, with a calculator. Because today we are talking about how Rachel Reeves managed to spark a full-blown revolt among Britain's so-called white van men without ever leaving her desk. Quick favour before we tear into this. If you are enjoying British Mirror and you want sharp politics without the boredom tax, hit that subscribe button and tap the notification bell. Most people watching still have not subscribed. It is free, takes a second, and keeps this channel going. Thank you if you just did. Now, let us get into it. This story begins, as so many modern tax stories do, with a phrase that should make your spine tingle. Reclassification. Not a tax rise, you understand, just a reclassification. The sort of word that sounds harmless until it empties your wallet. In Rachel Reeves's 2024 autumn budget, the Chancellor quietly confirmed a change that would completely reshape how thousands of working people are taxed for the vehicles they rely on every single day. From April 2025, and now fully biting as we roll through 2026, most double-cab pickup trucks are no longer treated as vans for tax purposes. They are now company cars. Yes, really, that Ford Ranger, that Toyota Hilux, that Isuzu D-Max caked in plaster dust and regret. Apparently, according to the Treasury, these are basically executive saloons with a muddy attitude problem. The justification? HMRC says it is simply aligning the tax rules with a 2020 Court of Appeal ruling. That ruling decided that double-cab pickups, because they have rear seats as well as a load bed, are equally suited to carrying passengers as they are to hauling commercial loads. In the cold, sterile language of the court, they lack primary suitability for carrying goods. Which is a fascinating conclusion when the back of the thing is literally designed to carry half a builder's merchant. Now, on paper, this all sounds terribly reasonable. Consistency, alignment, closing loopholes. But politics does not happen on paper. It happens in the real world. And in the real world, this change has landed like a dropped engine block. Under the old rules, a double-cab pickup qualified for the flat van benefit-in-kind rate. That meant a fixed taxable benefit of £4,020 a year. A basic rate taxpayer paid roughly £804 annually. Fuel benefit was similarly modest, predictable, manageable. You could budget for it. You could live with it. Under the new rules, the same vehicle is taxed like a car, and not just any car, a high-emission diesel car. Benefit in kind is now calculated as a percentage of the list price based on carbon dioxide emissions. For most of these pickups, that percentage is right at the top of the scale, 37%, the fiscal equivalent of being pushed down the stairs and charged for the ambulance. Take a fairly standard example, a Ford Ranger Wildtrak, list price somewhere between £48,000 and £50,000. Under the new system, the taxable benefit rockets to around £18,000. Suddenly, a basic rate taxpayer is paying over £3,500 a year. A higher rate taxpayer, over £7,000. And that's before fuel. Ah yes, fuel. If your employer provides private fuel, brace yourself. The fuel benefit multiplier for 2025 to 2026 is £28,200. Multiply that by the same emissions percentage, and you're staring at a four-figure sum just for the privilege of filling the tank. It's the sort of bill that makes you wonder whether pushing the thing everywhere might be cheaper. Now here's where the backlash really begins, because the people hit hardest by this aren't company directors gliding between meetings. They're farmers, builders, plumbers, electricians, landscapers, self-employed tradespeople, people who use these vehicles because they work, because they need to carry tools, because they need to tow, because they need four-wheel drive to get up a farm track in February. Calling this a stealth tax is not hyperbole, it is accurate. There was no great public debate, no election poster screaming, "We will tax your pickup." Just a technical adjustment buried in budget paperwork explained away as administrative tidying, and suddenly the little guy is paying thousands more a year. The Treasury insists there's transitional relief, and to be fair, there is. If you bought, leased, or ordered your double cab pickup before April 6, 2025, you can keep the old van tax treatment until you dispose of it, the lease ends, or April 5, 2029, whichever comes first. Even if the vehicle is reassigned to another employee, the old rules can still apply. But let's be honest, that's a sticking plaster, not a cure. Anyone buying now, or upgrading their fleet, or starting a business after that cutoff is straight into the new regime, and many people simply didn't know this was coming until it was too late. There was no billboard warning you at the dealership, just a nasty surprise waiting in your tax calculation. VAT rules, by the way, remain unchanged. If the payload is 1 ton or more, VAT reclaim is still allowed, which just adds another layer of absurdity. For VAT, it's still a van. For benefit in kind, it's suddenly a car. Schrodinger's pickup truck. Industry groups have quickly sounded the alarm. Fleets are being downsized, businesses are delaying purchases, some are being pushed towards single cab models that can't carry a crew, others are being nudged towards lower emission alternatives that simply can't do the same job. This is policy made in a city for people who don't need to drive across a muddy field at 6 in the morning. And politically, this is dynamite, because white van men are not just a demographic, they're a symbol. They're people who get up early, work with their hands, and feel, often correctly, that they are invisible until they're taxed. Alienate them, and you're not just losing votes, you're sending a message. Rachel Reeves and the Treasury argue that this reform closes a loophole, that it corrects an inconsistency exposed by the courts, that it helps businesses transition while ensuring fairness. And in a narrow, technical sense, that argument has legs. But politics is not a courtroom, it's lived experience, and the lived experience here is pain. The timing doesn't help. This is landing in the middle of a cost of living squeeze. Energy bills are high, materials are expensive, interest rates have bitten, and now, on top of everything else, the taxman is treating your workhorse like a luxury. What makes this sting even more is the sense that this government simply doesn't get it. There's a growing perception that Labour understands office jobs, consultancy, policy roles, but struggles to relate to practical trades. When policy decisions consistently land hardest on those who work outdoors, on the road, or in rural areas, resentment builds. And resentment is a powerful political force. You can already hear it in call-in shows, see it in trade forums, feel it in the language. People are not just angry about the money, they're angry about the attitude, about being told yet again that this is good for them, actually. Experts are now urging affected drivers to review their fleets urgently and consult tax professionals, which is sensible advice, but also telling. When you need professional help just to understand whether you can afford to drive the vehicle that does your job, something has gone wrong. This change will shape behavior. Some will hold on to older vehicles longer, slowing fleet renewal. Others will avoid upgrades. Some may even leave trades altogether, deciding the margins are no longer worth the stress. None of that helps productivity. None of that helps growth. And so we arrive at the broader question: what is the point of tax policy? Is it to reflect reality or to reshape it? Is it to support work or to nudge people away from it? Because when a pickup that hauls bricks is taxed like a company car, it feels like ideology trumping common sense. Rachel Reeves may argue this is a small technical change. For thousands of working people, it is anything but. It is personal, it is expensive, and it is another reminder that in modern Britain, the taxman is never far away, quietly reclassifying your livelihood. Thank you for watching British Mirror.